Shut up!
Shut up! Episode 25 with Sean Strange. Brother Sean Strange, welcome.
How you doing, man? Thank you for having me. Always good to be back.
Yo, and with this episode 2025, we just saw it again. We have my dog basically in the background making a lot of noise, a lot of disturbance. How was it meeting? I know you don't like pit bulls. How was it meeting my dog?
He's a good guy. He proved me wrong. Pit bull, usually I'm shaky with. He jumped on me, scuffed my shoes. But other than that, we're good. We're good people.
I think you guys are getting along pretty well today, man.
Yeah, I thought he was going to bite the shit out of me when I came in here. Came right from me. But he's a good kid. He's a good kid, that Dookie. I fell in love with your dog, though.
I told you, bro.
He's a good boy.
Good
bulls are just, they're unpredictable.
If you want to hate him, all we got to do is bring him in the car.
Let me ask you a question. At the pit bull, though, do you think if someone tried to hurt her, he would viciously maul them, no?
I hope so.
Well, I think he's still young, but
I don't know if he knows the difference between like real shit and playing.
Isn't that ultimately what you want, though?
I would like that, yeah. I would like him.
Like if somebody comes in the house.
Like if I have a body and I need to like piece it off,
right?
Cut off
the
leg. I know for a fact he'll eat the person,
mm-hmm.
and that makes me feel good.
But even like if someone came in the house and broke in your house, God forbid, that he could maul the shit out of that.
Right. I just got to give it to him in pieces.
Right. Yeah, to train him because you don't want him to be. Because you don't want to. Because you don't want to have him.
I want him to eat the whole person.
Yeah, but it has to be in pieces.
In pieces.
You have to condition him for
One bite at a time. You eat elephant.
Look at him.
One bite at a time.
This guy he is.
Come on, he's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
He's about that life. No?
Dookie is a great name. Is it Duke or Dookie?
For you, what do you want to call him?
Dookie.
You want to be like Dookie? So it's Dookie, bro. Or the beloved Booba.
Booba, I like.
Booba. All right.
Booba. Are we on?
Sean, I'm glad you're here again, bro. You were episode 1. We had such a great episode, and it kind of all the episodes after that. We had a lot going on with the freedom movement and stuff.
Right.
But I definitely wanted to dial back because people don't really know how extensive your discography is. And can you just give the viewers an idea of how many artists you've worked with, not only featuring with records, but also producing?
Right. Well, as far as my discography, just as me, like, it goes back to my old group NGP. So we did 3 mixtapes, White People Can't Dance, Double Fisting, and then we had the Morning After, which was like an album. And then the funny thing is we have hundreds of songs that we didn't even put out that I don't even know. I'm thinking I've actually been talking with our old manager, Bob, which you just heard me on the phone. I'm going to go meet with him this week, and we're going to revisit and put a lot of that stuff on streaming platforms because, we made all that music. We might as well have it out there. So with NGP, there was that. But as Sean Strange, I have Up to No Good Volume 1, 2, and 3. I have Street Urchin 1, Truth Serum, Welcome to the Goondock, the collab album with PMD and Snow Goons, Subliminal Facebook Comments mixtape, Return from Rejection with Mighty Fuzz album, Everything Is Nah Bro project, Street Urchin 2. I'm like losing order here, but Street Urchin 2,
Hermano.
No Hermano, Instrumentals Volume 1, 2, 3, and the No Hermano Instrumentals. And then this year I got my first producer album technically coming out. I got Ice Cube on there, Lost Boys, Cassidy, Shay Davis, Ali Vegas, Royal Flush, Benny the Butcher, all kind of shit. So yeah, I have the Vile Caps EP with West Side Gun. So yeah, I mean, I would say out there I have a good, and that's not even counting the Snow Goons stuff, right? All the stuff I've done on their albums. Pretty much every Snow Goons album I'm on there at least twice. So I would say out there I have, close to like probably, and if you count all the features I've done for like paying customers or whoever, easily close to 1,000 records lingering out there.
Bro. Yeah. It's incredible, because we've been working together for a long time, and like people don't really understand how much behind the scenes, how many features were put together by you. I mean, as a producer, you blessed me with so many artists. I mean, I can go on and on about how many artists you got for me as well as for Snow Goons and stuff. So not only have you
we worked together on that too.
Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%. Yeah, man. So you're getting ready for tour, right? You're going back on tour
in May. I'm going back to the 25th anniversary in Snow Goons.
Look at that.
And it's going to be Ill Bill, Snow Goons, me, and my man Chubbs, who you should have on your pod one day. The Italian kid, rapper from Long Island, funny guy, talented dude. Sounds like more the new era underground, not like trap, but like the new era of like boom bap. And he's coming for his first Europe tour. I brought him to Switzerland for one show, but he hasn't actually been on. This is going to be a full Europe tour. Czech Republic, Switzerland, Germany, Italy. I literally was just talking with the Italian promoter while we were setting up shop here. So it's going to be like.
You're always working with Italian artists. You notice that? Between
I do. And if you remember, too, right? I have. Well, no, I'm talking about actually in Italy.
Right.
I have my man, shout out to my man, John G and Weirdo Beats from Milan. I'm supposed to be doing an album with them. We kind of started and then, it veered away a little bit, but I'll be meeting up with them when I go out there. Then, shout out to Cody, Gestapo.
Right.
When we went to Palermo in Sicily together, they were putting together a record because some kid was like shot by the police. I could be wrong, so I don't want to go.
This is out in Italy.
Out in Sicily. Okay. A kid was like killed by the police or something along those lines. So they were making an anti-police record, and asked me to be on it. It was like, if you look it up, it's called R.I.P. Me and Cody are in the video. We shot it like in the middle of Palermo in fucking Sicily. It looked like we're on the set of Godfather 2. Cody will tell you, if you ask him how that trip was, it was unbelievable. He ate a whole fish. We'll get to that later. Like a big whole fish. And we shot it, and it was like at least 10 Italian rappers, and then I did the chorus.
Wow.
So, yeah. And I've worked with everywhere I go, I've worked with international artists. I got my man Resnick in Czech Republic. Worked with guys in Denmark and Sweden and Canada, all over.
Yeah.
I try to stay connected like that.
So this is a tour with Snow Goons? Or
it's their 25th anniversary.
Awesome.
So it'll be Ill Bill. I'm putting it together with them, so I'm handling a lot of the booking as well. But yeah,
Are you guys doing a project together?
Yeah, I have an album coming with them this year. It should have been done already, but I kind of,
Do you have a solo project with them yet?
No. And that's why I'm doing it.
You guys work, so for the people to know, they work together all the time. Whatever he's doing in Europe or anything he's putting together, he's doing with the Snow Goons. And you're always linking them with different artists, American artists. I mean, they came to the Cuckoo's Nest, stayed at the Cuckoo's Nest, and worked with a whole bunch of artists that you lined up.
Yeah, for sure.
It's you definitely are a dot connector when it comes to this game, behind the scenes, helping so many artists, man. And speaking of that, I remember back with like the CPR days,
right?
Your friends, like you would say, listen, we're all going to Europe. If Sean's going to Europe, we're all going to Europe. Take us back to like 2013, man. I remember you were trying to also Ill Seed as well. I was part of Ill Seed. You were part of Ill Seed, which was a management company. And you were very adamant about making sure everybody went out there. Where did that passion come from, bro?
I don't know, man. I try to motivate with opportunity, and maybe that sometimes becomes a flaw, right? Because once you motivate with opportunity, now if you don't provide opportunity for a certain amount of time, usually people end up turning on you. Like, oh, well, you're not doing. And it's like, bro, you got to learn how to work for yourself. You know what I mean? But I just like doing for people, man. It's crazy. No matter how many times I get burnt by artists or people doing me dirty, I'll be like, oh, I'm never doing this again. Yeah. And then I end up doing it.
Do you feel it?
But I want everybody to experience that.
Do you feel it kind of like gives them an expectation of you providing?
100%. And then let's be realistic, right? They're like, oh, well, I'm not getting paid for these shows. Well, not one person bought a ticket to see you.
See you, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Back in the day when I was touring with, whether it was Necro or whoever, you think I was like, yo, where's my money? Like, I'm lucky to be there.
Right.
Remember the Beef 2 DVDs?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
so you remember the LL Cool J and Cannabis part?
Yeah.
There's a scene that me and my brother, there he goes. There's a scene with me and my brother. We said we talk about it, right? There's a scene with me and my brother. Always laugh at it. They're talking about LL Cool J and Cannabis battle.
Yeah.
And remember in 4, 3, 2, 1, Cannabis, talked about borrowing the mic from LL Cool J's arm. Remember that? That's how it started. Yeah. And then LL got offended by that and
made his diss record.
Right, and responded to him on the record. But they interviewed KRS-One. He was like, what did he say? He'll borrow that mic? He's like, listen, LL is an icon. You don't come out your face. You don't borrow nothing. Like, you're lucky to be on the record, he says. And we always laugh at that because it's true.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're lucky that you were on that record. Keep your fucking mouth shut. Don't borrow nothing. Just rap, bro.
Because how many artists, because in CPR, there was about, 12?
Oh, my God,
12 artists?
Yeah. Definitely.
Did any of them blossom at this? I'm out of touch for everybody.
Has anyone actually had a career? The only person is Meth Mouth.
Meth Mouth.
Yeah, with Free Will. And shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to
I got to give that kid love. He worked really hard, puts his own money up. You know what I mean? And I definitely work a little bit behind the scenes for them, like, with them. I got hooked them up with Bob, got them a distribution deal with Empire, I've booked them overseas and things like that. But they have their own movement. They do their own merch. They're doing their own bookings too. They're like putting their own music together. Like, they do their own thing. The funny thing is he was the only one he was down with me the smallest amount of time. After Street Urchin 1, he was out. Like we were still cool, but he was out doing his own thing.
Yeah.
Like,
so he took what you were trying to teach him, and he actually learned the stuff. I mean, that's the main thing, man. Like what I tried to hone down on last episode and now in 2025 is that it wasn't a hobby to you. It wasn't like a craft, not just a craft. You had the business aspect of it, and that's what you were trying to show everybody. I can even say as a producer, I didn't have ears to hear back then, or understanding that I have like now as a businessman. Where back then you were trying to kick us game. You were trying to show all of us. Man.
Yeah, I learned from the underground rappers before me. You know what I mean? Like how to get money. You know, whether it was my time on POR or just around, you know, watching guys, you know, that were making money independently and seeing like, oh wow, they're actually not on a major label and they're selling records, they're touring and stuff like that. So I just can't understand how you can be in this shit and not make any money.
Right, yeah.
Especially now. Well, I mean, back in the day when we had to go.
But can you, though? Think about it. Think about the internet. Think about the internet now with attention.
Yes.
It was like attention without the likes.
Honestly, but now it's even, to me, it's even easier to make money with the internet. Back in the day, like,
but there's still a culture of people like just doing it for attention.
Bro, how hard was to sell beats before the internet?
Oh, forget about it. Yeah.
Only sell locally.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the first time I actually started selling beats was, you remember K Hard?
Yes.
Right, K Hard. That's my man Kenny. He had done his thing. He had the big video company. He's doing movies now. But before I would tell that story, that's a great story. But there was a kid from Canada, Prumple, whatever, and he was a fan of like NGP, like found us through like message boards and like XLib and all that shit. And he hit me up. I think it was like on AOL Buddy Chat or some shit like that, and was like, yo, I want to buy a beat from you. I love your beats. And he sent me a postal money order, a Canadian money order, and I sent him a CD, bro. I couldn't even send him the file. It wasn't before that.
Yeah.
I mailed him back a data, you know, like the data, the rewritable data CDs with the beats on there. I gave him like $50 a beat, $100 a beat. I didn't know better at the time, you know what I mean? Just send me, you know, $200, 100 a beat.
That's crazy, yeah.
So it was like, and that was, you know, before that, it was just straight. And the K Hard thing, which was great, he was my mailman.
That's right. I
was in college at the time. Yeah.
He did the record with Jojo Pellegrino and Lord Tariq.
And you remixed it.
Yeah, I remixed it. That's right.
So he was my mailman, and shout
out to K Hard.
Yeah, shout out to K Hard. Shout out to Kenny, their whole team. You know what I mean? I think it is Paper Militant. And Kenny Gray. He was the manager. He's the video director now. But so K Hard though was my mailman. And I was in college at that time for music. So, you know, go to school, go to class, come home, smoke weed, make beats. That's all I cared about. And I would have the basement window open. So I'd be, you know, on the MP doing my thing. And I guess he was delivering mail every day, hearing me make beats from the window. Randomly one day, I get the doorbell rings. I come up, he's like, you know, in the mail was the letter carrier outfit. He's like, hey, man, you know, I'm here every day. Obviously, I'm hearing the beats. Are those yours? Blah, blah, blah. I rap. Like, how do I get, you know, some beats from you? I'm like, hey, man, you know, here's my number. Bring me some money. Let's talk some business, and cool. And those motherfuckers, I got salute to them, bro. They were the first guys to really put some money in my pocket.
That's incredible. That's so fun.
They bought a lot of beats from me, bro. Over a couple of years, I produced like 4 albums for them.
Yeah.
And then all other stuff that didn't even come out, maybe, or
That's crazy. It's so foreign now. Like everybody, you know. I was attacked by my fucking poster.
We're gonna keep that, or
we keep that.
You could just start from it's so foreign now, is what you were saying.
No. So
give a scream.
Yeah. It's so foreign now, for people to like meet like on the whim like that, where like online you know, it's a numbers game, right? You send an email to this person, send an email 100 out. Hopefully someone gets back to you. When it gets back to you, you try to build a rapport. In this case, it's the mailman listening to your beats. Just so everybody understands, Sean makes beats in the basement floor, so the sound is coming from the basement. This guy's mailing, the mail guy's dropping the mail off, listening to beats, probably dropped 2 or 3 times, and then literally rang the bell to find out like
yo, how do I get my hands on these? That's
so
why I say
crazy.
With the internet, bro, that's why I say I don't want to hear that you can't make money off this shit.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, they have beat stars, they have all this other shit. I'm not saying you gotta become a millionaire, but bro, you have direct to consumer relationship with anyone you want online.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you do. You're a clothing designer, you're an artist, you're a producer, real estate, whatever the fuck it is, you can reach out to people.
So what is your advice then? Like for an artist that's out right now in this time such a saturated game. What is your advice as an independent artist?
Do whatever you can to build an organic fan base. And even if it takes time, so be it, right? Or if you pay for a feature, right? Let's say you go and buy a feature from whoever, you know, I'm going to get a Cassidy feature. Or I'm going to go get a Havoc from Mobb Deep feature. You pay for it, do the beat, the song, you put the video out, whatever. Now you start going to like, this is what I used to do back in the day. I would go when Facebook first came out. I was like blown away by that. MySpace was cool because I was selling a few beats on MySpace, definitely. But when Facebook hit is when I really was like, oh shit, I could run with this.
Yeah.
I would go to every underground rapper's page and look at their post and look, okay, 3,000 people like this. I would literally click on who liked it and go through it and like inbox. How you doing? Peace. My name's Sean Strange. You know, you might have heard me, you might not, but if no, here, check my new single. And I would DM and instant message thousands of people to where people started being like, oh, yo, your shit is dope. Yo, your shit is dope. Yo, your shit is dope. And that's how I started really building fans. And then once I got on the road, that's where I really started building fans. But just build an organic fan base. Bro, think about it. You could have 500 people around the world, but they're loyal fans.
Yeah. And
that no matter what you drop, they'll buy it.
Make a small career. Yeah. Make a small career off that. Yeah.
You could literally put, I'm pressing up t-shirts. You know, I'm doing a little t-shirt package. I have a vinyl and a hoodie, or a vinyl and a t-shirt, or a t-shirt, hat, and bandana, whatever it is. Let's just say it's $100. And then you sell 500 of them.
Yeah, 100%. You make money. And then that's the thing, right? It's getting on base. Just getting on base.
Right.
Getting a small, instead of looking at it like, I'm going to sell to millions of people, just get on base and sell to thousands of people.
Right.
And be in control of your masses, be in control. 100%
Yeah, 100%.
solid advice.
Like, and that's all I'm trying to say. Like, and I know people like, hey, listen, I'll sit here and say I'll take responsibility in the fact that I know it could be difficult to deal with, especially back in the day, right? Because I'm very aggressive and pushy. So I can't sit and say, oh, I was perfect all the time. You know what I mean? But, bro, I can't remember a time where I've gotten a phone call from someone that said, yo, Strange, check this out. I got this thing for you.
Right.
Like, yo, I got these shows for you. Come, I'm going to bring you on. You know what I mean? Like, it's always been, you know what I mean? So, you know, I tried my best to help anyone around me. It's like, you know what I mean? And none of them made me money. No, yeah. I'm not trying to diss anybody.
No,
you know what I mean? I'm not
it's always an output. Yeah,
yes,
it was always an output.
Never, I can't think of one artist I've worked with that I like put on over the years that made me $1. Nothing.
Do you regret it?
No. Because I have a good heart, and if they hold on to that memory and it was fun for them and something they could talk about, yo, I went on tour one day, or I did. You know, they got to live with, you know, we all got to live with our decisions. You know what I mean? I don't regret it. The only thing I regret is time, giving time. Time to me is the most valuable currency in the world. Can't get it back. You can always make money back. You can always buy new shoes.
100%.
I mean, time is, you know what I mean? Rocky has a line in Creed where he says, time takes everybody out. It's undefeated.
100%.
You know what I mean? So that I regret sometimes. You know what I mean? Like time that I've given to people.
So there's also been acquaintances too, right? People in the game that you've helped try to dial in their Europe tours. You want to talk about some of the artists that you've actually helped out
for, or like,
or even there's some artists that people may know that their first European tour was through you.
Well, yeah, not European, but Benny the Butcher, who's super popular now. I booked his first USA tour.
That's crazy. See,
yeah,
look at that.
I booked his first USA tour before he had ever gone on
tour.
What did that look
like? What is the first tour for Benny the Butcher look like?
Like as far as how the turnout was?
Well, just where and
we had like 17 shows.
Wow,
it was crazy because one of the guys who was working with him at the time came up to me in a sneaker store and like, yo, I heard you the man with the tours. I'm like, yeah, you could say that, whatever. We chopped it up, and he's like, yo, we want to put something together. And I remember I was like, yo, give me like 2 weeks and I'll hit you guys up. And I hit them in like 2 weeks. Like, you already got 12 dates. And we ended up doing I think 16 dates. And a year from that tour, the guy was signing with Jay-Z.
That's the blind spot, bro. Like you're bringing a piece to where people are making the music, they're getting attention. Maybe it's getting on blogs, getting on pages. People are liking the music, but they don't know how to set up the tour. And you were bringing this knowledge to artists.
Unless they have a team, and most people don't know. But that also bothers me too, right? It's not rocket science, bro. You know what I mean? It's really, really not rocket science. Like they think it's like this impossible feat. You know what I mean? Again, you're on the internet. I almost don't want to even give the game right now.
No, give it to them, bro. Give it to them, bro.
Think about it. whoever, Joe Schmo going on tour. You see him announce the tour dates. You see where they're at. Okay, here's the list of tour dates. Now, what would you do next? Just curious.
Call the locations.
Right. Research the location.
Yeah.
Who's the buyer? Who's the this?
Yeah.
And but listen, are they all going to say yes?
All right.
No, but
so then let's dial in. Let's dial in the sauce though for them for the viewers. So all right. So now the artist knows that he can't go to that city and get people there. What does he do next that he knows that he wants to be part of that, but he may not be able to?
He tells the promoter, like, look, I know that I'm not that popular. I can't sell tickets. So I'll tell you what, let's do a door deal. Just put me in a hotel. I'll get there. Just give me a hotel, place to stay, maybe some ground transportation. Feed me. But we'll do a door deal. So if 100 people come in, you're getting paid off of every ticket. But if no one comes, no one really loses any money. And the promoter doesn't pay you for giving you $2,000.
No output on that.
Right.
Gosh.
A little bit. They might have to pay for the rental of the club, whatever. But
I think that's a gem, guys. I think that's a gem right there. That's right.
Bro,
figure out the incentive.
You know how I met Snow Goons?
Oh.
Remember Clea McGore, whatever, from
I apologize for not remembering these names, bro.
The guy was on PLR with. This Canadian guy.
Yes.
Whatever. Right? So he was doing a Snow Goons tour in Canada right before I put out Street Urchin 1. I had the deal. I had when all the big posters I used to have with the release date. I had all that ready. It was like maybe a month and a half before it was coming out. I see they got a tour with Snow Goons. I hadn't met Manu yet, only talked online. We did one record together. And I hit up the guy Clea. I'm like, look, I want to come and be on this tour. I got an album coming out to promote. I said, you don't have to pay me. You don't have to give me hotels. I said, I'm going to come out there myself, and I want to open up and be able to set up merch. And I did. Paid for my own hotels. Brought my whole crew with me. Bro, like Bundy was there, bro. All these cats out there. We went out there. We were staying in hotels, all that. I shot the Global Domination video and met Manu, and rest is history.
Oh, so you met him at the...
I met him on that tour.
Get out of here.
We met for the first time shooting that video.
Wow.
Only talking through online. We never met face-to-face until that. Like, not that video shoot, but that time.
Yeah.
We did like a show or two before, then we shot the video.
That's crazy.
I wasn't even supposed to be on that record. That record was done already.
That's with the video with you with
I knew that
shotgun or something like that.
Yeah, and you know what's even crazier? While we're on that topic, you know that video got me that movie offer. I didn't get put in the movie. I almost did, but it got me
an offer because of the
Taraji Henson did the Love It movie. Like the casting director's nephew or whatever was like a fan of mine and showed his aunt like, yo, you should put this guy in one of your movies. And then she saw me with the mask and the shotgun and blowing up the cop cars.
Speaking of the Snow Goons, while we're on it, you are the only artist that actually duoed up with Parrish Smith of EPMD
outside of Eric Sermon. Yeah.
Outside of Eric Sermon. What was that like? I mean, how do you? What made you even think about duoing up with somebody that was already in a two-man group?
It wasn't like I pre-planned it. If you remember, because you should, I met Parrish back in 2004 with NGP. And when we did, we were doing all those club speed shows. Remember Downtime?
Of course, yeah.
So we did a show, NGP show at Downtime. We did the record with Parrish, and we did the show at Downtime. And I don't know how we pulled it off, but we reached out to him like, yo, we're going to perform. Can you come perform the record we did with you? And he did. He came.
Right.
And this was still like 2004. So they had just done like not too long before, after they did Symphony 2000. So he was still, he wasn't like now where he's like.
Either way, they're legends. So it doesn't.
At that time, it was still like they were very relevant, whatever, however you want to call it, like on the radio and stuff like that. And it was popping. I mean, we had like all these CDs and people were just waiting for autographs and he was like signing on CDs. So from that moment, I just kept in touch with him. I would hit him all the time, send him messages, page him. He had a pager. I used to page him all the time. If you watch our documentary, he says, Sean Strange, he kept tracking me. Because this is what I'm saying. Like,
you're on him.
Use whatever resource you can.
You aggressive. That's what it does.
And after I met Manu in Canada,
Street
Urchin 1 came out and I said, yo, I hit Manu and said, look, I want to come to Europe and do a tour. I'm not exactly sure what the best way to do it is. I've been in touch with some promoters and stuff, but what do you think? I needed your advice. I'm like, give me some, you live out there. And he goes, yo, get yourself a headliner. That will work out best for you. He's like, do you know anybody famous? I said, yeah, PMD. He goes, oh, he's perfect. I said, all right, give me 3 days. I hit Parrish. And I could be real. I don't care if Parrish watches. Yeah, I lied. I said, yo, Parrish, I got like 15 shows on deck, ready to go. You down? He's like, yeah, Strange, it's been a while since I've been on the road. Like, you know what I mean? Because he was taking a break. He even says in interviews and stuff, he'll say that I kind of, put some fire in him because he was, he's a legend. He had money. He had, the big crib, the cars and all that. So But he was like amped. He did it just for hip hop. He could have got paid way more, but he just wanted to come.
And he wasn't in no contract that could stop him from.
Nah.
That's awesome.
Nah.
That's awesome.
So once that happened, I went to Manuel and said, PMD's in. And then we did get the show because I knew we would get the shows.
Yeah.
So I told him, yo, I got about 15 shows. At the time, I only had like 3.
Right.
But I knew the rest would come in.
How many? And all 15 came?
We had like 14 because 2 of them got canceled.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You pulled it off.
Mm-hmm. And then so
you took a shot.
that tour.
Took a shot.
Right. But that's how the thing happened. So that tour, we had a couple off days in Germany. And me and him just did like 1 song, 2 songs. And I'm like, yo, we should just do an EP together. And he was so hype on the energy because I had everyone with me. Everyone was there. I had he'll tell you, I brought like 8 people with me. You know what I mean? So we're all, the energy just in the studio is crazy. Everybody's writing together, and someone's over here writing a chorus, someone's over here doing this, and then we ended up doing like 5, 6 records in Germany, and then I just kept pushing on it, like, yo, let's just do a full album. Before we know it, we had 14 songs. But I will say, doing that album was one of the hardest things I ever had to do.
And why? Let's get into that. Why is that?
He has a million things going on. So, for me, I was way more motivated. Yeah. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to him. He's PMD. He was, I'm sure
later,
I'm sure he wasn't waking up every day like, oh, what I really need to do is finish this Goondocks project. Like, he was into it, but it just took a lot to get it done.
Was he still touring with Eric at the time?
Yeah, and when I first started getting with him, because the funny thing is, and this leads to other great stories, like road stories. So that first tour, me and Parrish are in Germany, recording. I'll never forget, I'm in the booth about to do a verse, and Parrish comes knocking on the door in the booth. I'm like, yo, I'm about to do this verse. He goes, yo, telephone call. I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I go, hello? He goes, yo, what's up, man? It's E-Dub. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's like, yo, I see you doing the show, blah, 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 blah. Maybe, see if they want to add me to any of the shows. But
Eric Sherman?
On that tour we're currently doing, but the promoters weren't willing to put up a couple more thousand, with not enough time to promote it. It was a risk. And then they were like, yo, we have a tour next month in February in Europe. Why don't you come back and open up for us? And I did. And I literally, but that one was crazy. I flew myself out there on my own dollar, had to pay for my own hotels. I wasn't getting paid for any of the shows. I just did it as an opportunity.
And speaking of Parrish Schmidt, you also were working with Eric Sermon. Mm-hmm. And you were doing a show. You had a court case out in Europe. You want to get into that court case?
Yeah. So around that time of 2019, I believe, about 2019, I did a deal with Def Squad for distribution. Did some, Eric and Rockwild did some beats for me. Cool experience, And I was booking Eric Sermon's solo tour. And I reached out to this promoter in Switzerland that I've worked for before. Tour dates were coming in. He made like a low offer that Eric wanted more money. So I went back to the guy like, look, he's not going to do it for this money, blah, blah, blah. This guy, the promoter was always like a dick, but I didn't know he was like a racist cat, you know what I mean? And then he starts like, getting nasty with me on the DM. And I said, look, bro, don't blame me because I can't get a 50-year-old legend to take your mediocre offer. And he responded, which you can see on my Instagram in the post. He wrote, I don't care about a random 50-year-old N-word with the hard ER at the end.
Wow.
And I was just like, whoa. So I kind of went back and forth with him.
This is a promoter for hip-hop?
Yeah, does, wow. Hip-hop, Onyx, Far Side, Method. I opened for Method Redman at his club, Mobb Deep, like you name it. He's booked everybody. And so I went back and forth with him, kind of like simmered a little bit, went on the tour, told Eric about it. And I remember telling Eric, like, yo, I feel like I got to expose this cat eventually. I sat on it for some months. I did, because I didn't know how to, approach it. And some people around me at the time were like, trying to talk me out of it. And then everything went down. This was during COVID time that I exposed it.
Right.
Between COVID, the George Floyd thing, and I was living in Europe. So when all the chaos was happening over here after George Floyd, as an American, I can't front, it bothered me watching all this stuff happen in New York and this real nice country in Switzerland. And so I was like, you know what? If I could do anything, I could expose this cat and feel like I'm, you know what I mean? Doing something about it, right?
Right.
So I made the post about it, called him out, called for a boycott, and it just went viral. It really did. Especially in Switzerland. It was in a newspaper. People all over, blogs and shit were posting about it. If you look at the comments, it's just people from his city saying, yeah, this guy's always been a dick, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, let's say 2 months go by after the post of me calling him out. And I'm in my crib in Switzerland, and I knock on the door, open the door, and I get served with court papers. I look at the Swiss jerk off like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? And he's like, whatever he said. Close the door, open it up, and I see the guy suing me. Trying to sue me for defamation of character and claiming I destroyed his business by calling him out as a racist. And he was trying to sue me for 30,000 Swiss franc, right? Now, naturally, I'm like, I'm not paying this money. It's not happening. You know what I mean? No way you're getting this money out of me. I'm going to fight this shit. And I did. And the cool thing about it is, like, I didn't have a lawyer. I didn't have nothing. I literally went and represented myself against the prosecutor and this mope.
I love it.
The guys love it. Right. And, like, I wish you could see how it was in these, like, court proceedings. It wasn't like a typical courtroom.
Yeah.
It was in a courthouse, but we were, like, in a room, table like this, but longer. And it's like the prosecutor here. The racist kid was there, too. And he was terrified the whole time. We're New York cats, so I'm just kind of like, looking at him the whole time. Just to, fuck with him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I held it down. I fucking held it down with a translator. The translator, even I told you, sometimes would be like, you sure you want me to say that? I'd be like, yo, say it. Tell them. Tell them what I said. You know what I mean? And I got it knocked down. Not only did I not have to pay and did I not lose the case, the only reason I got fined was because I technically broke a Swiss law. And for posting a private conversation and making it public.
So wait, so you were found, like, how did it work? Was it like found guilty or not guilty, or
it wasn't like that? Like they just threw out they ruled against me having to pay whatever he was suing me for. They ruled against him because I proved evidence.
But they ruled for what though? What did
I had to prove a pattern. They were about to make me pay that unless I could prove a pattern of his racism. Right. And now I had to really get down to it. So obviously I had my first thing, the screenshot of him saying that. Then I got Eric Thurman to record a video and express how offended he was and what the severity of that word means, especially in hip hop, especially with a white person saying it. Yeah. He gave me a video. Eric said, as long as you don't like post it, it's only for the prosecutor team to look at. So I had that. And then the third thing I had a girl. I won't say her name because I don't want to put her out there. Yeah. But she worked with him. And she's heard him use that word before. She told me she did. She had told me, I've heard stories. And I told her, I kind of put a little pressure on it. And I felt bad, but I had to do what I had to do. I told her, like, yo, you claim to be hip hop culture. You got to stand up for this. 100%. This is the black art form, the black 100%. Culture that we're in. So if we claim it, we got to stand by that. And I said, and do you want to see me have to pay 30 bands to a racist who's just trying to squeeze me right now? So God bless her. She wrote a letter in my favor, saying that she not only has heard him use that once, but on multiple occasions, and has reprimanded him for it, and it never changed. And she signed it and sent the letter in. So that between those three pieces of evidence, that was all I needed.
That's incredible. With speaking of just racism in hip hop and stuff, there's a big topic right between Fat Joe and Lord Jamar, and I've been dying to talk to you about it. We spoke on the phone a little bit. As two Caucasian men being in hip hop for many years, do you think Lord Jamar is correct or Fat Joe? When we start talking about the inception of hip hop, Lord Jamar's stance is that, and I think a lot of people get him misconstrued on where he's coming from.
Who, Lord Jamar?
Yeah, because I think it's how he's saying it. People are getting defensive, but they're not hearing what he's saying. Right. And I'll give an analogy that'll clear it up. But he's saying that this comes from foundational Black Americans, and that this is a Black art form. Not that there weren't Spanish people there that were contributing to it. Yeah. But it's not salsa, it's not merengue, nor is there any influence of that. Right. And that's his stance. Fat Joe, like Crazy Legs and other Spanish artists, are saying, no, we were there from the beginning, so it's a mutual creation. Right. What's just watching from the outside looking in, what's your outlook on this?
It's hard for me with these kind of topics because I wasn't there. So there's a lot of things I don't know, but I was always under the impression that it was Black and Spanish and Latin, hip hop was, when you think of the early breakers, Crazy Legs and all these kind of cats before that were, a big part of it. And then, but I don't know. I always did look at hip hop as a Black created art form, though.
Yeah, me too.
That was, so I don't know. It's tough, you know what I mean? Watching them both argue and stuff like that. But I feel like also arguing with Lord Jamar is like, you already know what you're gonna get. He's gonna stand by what he thinks, and that's gonna be it. You know what I mean? The funny thing is, for me, and I get a lot of people who say, oh, well, all this is black music, rock and roll, this, and that, right? But the funny thing is that hip hop, even into its earliest days of sampling, were using other records. Did you watch Drink Champs with Method Man?
Yeah.
We talked about the METHOD Man song.
No.
He talks about where he came up with a lot of those lyrics. And he says, hey, you get off my cloud. Right?
That's right. He grabbed all of those parts from different songs,
from Rolling
right?
Stones. Hey, you get off of my cloud.
Wow.
Hey. So it's like
the whole art form is from sampling other.
So like, I hate this conversation. I truly do. Like where it's like, I get it, right? I get it. You know what I mean? But to me, it's like, this is all just hip hop is the melting pot of all things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So my take on it is that he's just saying, I'm assuming he's just saying that this was a creation. So like if we had pizza, for instance, right? Now there's all different. There's Pizza Hut. There's Albanians have a pizzeria out in my neighborhood, But at the end of the day, it comes from Italian culture.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's trying to say. I don't know what he wants to do. Like after the world goes, yeah, it is black culture. I don't know what the next step is for him.
Right.
I would like to learn. And honestly, I would love to see. I mean, the labels are the labels. The labels are owned by, whoever. And
right.
So either way, I know he feels that he feels that black people, he said that they do the shot calling when it comes to hip hop, and that's the only thing. I wish he was right.
Right.
I wish he was right, but it's not. It's the labels, right?
Yeah, but
it's the labels that are controlled.
For sure, but some of the labels are owned by black men. Oh, the 90s. That's one thing. I know that a lot of the higher ups, like white guys that own the labels, but you got Puffy, Steve Stout, Kevin Lyles. You have all these powerful people. Of course, they have to answer to others. They don't own the label. Like, there's always higher up structure. It's like government, right? So, you know what I mean? I don't know. It for me, bro.
I would like to see who Steve Stout or these guys that answer to.
Right.
Like,
I just wish. Why can't we just all? I know it sounds corny.
No, I get you.
Why can't we all just enjoy it?
Right.
I remember when this whole the original white guys that guests in hip hop conversation came up.
Yeah, and
you had white people trying so hard to find their own. They're like, "Whoa, a white guy created basketball." Like, who gives a shit?
Right.
But you know what? To say that black people didn't elevate basketball, like, come on.
Right. Yeah.
Come on. Of course.
And to say that black people can't because it's a white man's sport, and that's kind of where,
which is insane.
Lord Jamal was losing me with the Eminem conversation. But let me tell you, I really do appreciate Lord Jamal, man. I know he ruffles a lot of feathers in some cases, and in some cases,
right.
The people agree. When the freedom movement stuff was happening, there were like 4 people, especially at the time when, in the beginning of the lockdowns, COVID lockdowns. He was one of the loudest voices that supported us.
Yeah.
Which was crazy, right?
No,
because
sure.
a lot of times, he understood, especially the New York freedom movement. He was posting us, he was seeing our videos and he was posting us. And I was really appreciated that, because there wasn't many in the hip hop game. And I was trying to just get the word out with that kind of stuff. And this conversation is a much more complex one, because like you said, we weren't there. We weren't there,
right?
And it's
that's why.
And then and one more thing, some of the founders are divided on it.
Yeah, 100%. And then also, right? Take in mind, you're gonna tell me that there's like cultures, races, and all that are mixed so much. You know what I mean? You could trace race in people like you. I didn't know you had British in you, right? Like you just never like. So who knows? The first black guy to make a hip hop record, Grandmaster Flash, might be 10% Puerto Rican,
right?
Might have you know what I mean? We just don't know. So it's like these conversations for me are always weird. And honestly, I hope people don't get mad. I don't give a fuck. I just enjoy it. I hate watching people fight and all this other shit.
But speaking of Puffy, man, I gotta give you your flowers, bro. Like even when we were like young adults, teenagers, young adults, you would always say, especially you were a big fan of Tupac first. So.
Still am.
And you would always bring up the stuff that's coming out today about Puffy. You would say certain things that always. So when all that came out, what was that like, bro? You saw seeing this stuff. It's like literally on mainstream news.
Right. You know what's funny is One, I think, he did. I can't say he did everything, but I think that like 80%, 90% of what they're saying about this guy is true. I think he did that shit. You know what I mean? Whatever they're saying he did that shit. But it's funny because I have been saying it since we were young.
Yeah, we were
right?
kids,
And yes, a lot of it came from me loving Tupac and being a huge Tupac fan. But Tupac was talking all that kind of stuff about him, about he's a deviant and all that kind of shit. And people always, Pac's just talking. So that's why when it came out, I was like, look, you know what I mean? Because I really feel, I just get I can read energy. Even when I was younger,
Yeah.
his energy always came off like a creature, like a creep. You know what I mean? I mean, all the evidence that points at him to being involved in Tupac's death.
Yeah.
Everybody just ignores it.
Yeah, bro.
They just ignore it. Like, every rat in the world said that Puffy had something to do with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. 100%. You know, we were around, I think, like an engineer. There was an engineer that used to work at Quad Studio. I'm not going to say his name. They used to come to the Cuckoo's Nest, and he would talk about the Velvet Mafia. He would talk about Puffy, and all this like deviant behavior,
Right.
and music in general, just not even
in
the
general,
hip-hop.
right.
But I mean, even Ali Vegas, bro. We got to give the flowers to that guy. I mean, he was on Doggy Diamonds, 10 years ago? And he was trying to explain. I actually tried to get Ali Vegas on with Math Hoffa. I was trying to connect those dots about 4 years ago. And all this stuff coming out now, I mean, it's really crazy. I do hope that, I hope this stuff is not true. But, this is what he's being accused of. But really,
Well, how do you feel?
I mean, I feel like that this is, listen, we're talking about stuff that I can't prove.
Right.
I think it leads to a bigger racket.
Yeah.
Way bigger than Puffy. Way bigger than even Jay-Z. But let me tell you, what would be the best way to disclose this? By who do the people know? They may not know the names in the backgrounds and the bigger names, the bigger fish.
Yeah,
they
and I agree that Puffy probably made somebody mad. They're like, okay, now we're going to.
So you think they left him out for dry type thing? Like low-hanging fruit?
People knew that he was doing dirt, but overlooked it because whatever business dealings he had, right? Because we both know in business, money is number one. So people will overlook bullshit from high-powered people if they're making all kind of money. But I think the minute you move against someone more powerful than you, it's like, it's like sometimes like a detective or court, whatever, people, the government will what?
No,
that they'll, like, let's say they have a case against somebody, but there's some dirt in the case.
Yeah.
Maybe they did an illegal wiretap. Maybe they did, so they'll put it under. But they'll make sure that, like, hey, when, cause you know how, like, when election, you ever seen The Wire?
No,
that's what
you keep asking for this.
All right, so there's a thing in The Wire. I don't want to ruin it for you, but there's a thing in The Wire where they run an illegal wiretap. They make up some bullshit murderer that's not even real. One of the cops is so mad that this drug dealer got away with all these murders and stuff.
Crystal, you just told me about this. Where they make up, it's like an entrapment thing, right?
What, in The Wire?
Well,
that's something different. That's season 3. But Mr. Big. You about The Wire?
Wow, that's so crazy. No, it's actually a tactic that they do. They make up another story to get him on another,
okay, no, but that's not, I know you're talking about, that's not what it's similar. But they have it where, like, this drug dealer gets away with, he has like 22 something bodies that he puts in vacant, empty houses in Baltimore. And because there's like a budget cut, because of like schools, whatever, school deficit, they end up shutting down the task force that's doing that case. So ultimately this guy gets to walk. So the cop ends up makes up a phony serial killer. He literally starts juking natural homeless deaths to like make it like the serial killer. And uses that money, gets the city hype up, and uses the money they give him for that fake case and routes it to take down this drug dealer and his organization, but with an illegal wiretap. So eventually when they arrest all of them, they, somehow the lawyer of the drug dealer finds out on some way that there's an illegal wiretap, and they have to end up letting the guy walk. Some of his organization goes to jail, but they have to let him walk, the boss.
Right.
Because there's dirt and they say, but hey, after the election, right now it's election season, but after the election, if they even feel you're still in the game, they're going to pull that case off the shelf and they're going to prosecute you.
Right.
So I think the reason I brought that all up is I feel like in the case of like something like Puffy,
they
might have had a file on cuz, for a while, and like he did something that pissed them off,
And they're letting it go.
I don't know. Like, the thing is, we never can tell, right? That's the thing.
I would hate to accuse somebody.
Too.
I would never want to be accused of that. That's why I'm not so quick. Everybody, oh yeah, he's definitely doing that. Like, I don't know if he's definitely doing it, and I wouldn't want to be accused of that. And I just try to shut the next one.
I don't know. But I'm pretty sure I almost know that he was doing like sexually deviant shit. Now, if
I think of Fabulous and when Puffy showed up at Fabulous on Drink Champs.
Right, and all this kind of shit, bro. And then look back in the day, start like doing the knowledge. Look at all the way he was in videos and shit.
Yeah.
Look at Faith Evans' video where they had all the kids in like the skimpy skirts and shit. They're like dancing behind her. What the fuck was that?
Yo,
it was always hints to him being a fucking deviant.
2024 was hard on hip hop because like now with all these accusations coming out, we keep hearing these rumors that Jay-Z's next and there's all this stuff.
Jay-Z's thing was bullshit.
Now this case, right? But my point is like it's since Kendrick with Drake, it's hard to listen to Drake now. It's hard to listen to
you.
It's hard to listen to Meek Mills. It's hard to listen to Puffy.
Why hard to listen to Drake?
You just look like that body was a body, bro.
The body, but like Drake still has more fans. This is a debate, like, and I'm not even a fan. I'm not a fan of either of them.
Right.
I can care less.
No dog in the fight.
I think they're both talented.
Yeah.
But Drake took an L. Okay.
A lot of
in my opinion, I know it was a little different with Biggie and Puffy, right? Because there was murders involved.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I know people are like, oh, well, Big took subliminal shots. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, Hit 'Em Up is still the best diss record of all time.
Yeah.
It didn't kill Biggie's career. He just, he just got.
But I'm talking more about the part, like what he was accusing him, like what Kendrick was accusing him of and shit. And that's dangerous. It's like, if those things are not true, that's my point.
Right.
If those things are not true, bro.
Yes. I didn't even know that's what you meant. I think you meant just in general about the battle.
Not about losing. No.
Okay.
Yeah. I meant more about what he was accusing
minor,
of.
probably a minor, which is a great bar, though.
Great bar.
Something right. It's probably A minor, whatever he did, the way he flipped it.
And then, like, kids on TikTok for doing this shit.
Yeah. So, hey, let me tell you something. The fact that this is history, though, right? When you think about it, a diss record becoming a hit.
A hit record.
Hit 'Em Up was a hit. People forget that. The multi-platinum single.
100%.
Whatever, but this is different. Because Hit 'Em Up was really vicious.
This was like the biggest song of the summer, right?
Right. Hit 'Em Up wasn't like scaling on radio stations.
Yeah.
It just was a hit. But it's not like us shit is a hit. And you know what's funny,
crazy.
bro? I was in the studio with a couple people when that shit came out, and I thought it was trash.
Did you?
It took time for it to grow on me, and I would never listen to that record.
Yeah.
But now I can hear why it became a hit.
Yeah.
Like after a while, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it.
Bro, Kendrick is such
and tell me that's not an old school style beat.
Oh yeah.
The drum pattern is, but the bam bam bam, that sounds like some Dre, early Dre shit.
Who was it? It was DJ Mustard.
I think so. One of them guys.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But like I was saying, bro, it was just, that Meek Mills audio.
That's not real.
Bro, that shit. I heard that
real.
Every time now I listen to Meek, I'm like, damn, this shit. And look, right? If that, I don't know if it's real or not real, right? But just to show you AI and how close AI is, if that's not real, right? And how that could just smear something.
Right.
It's like,
shit. Think about, remember the Michael Jackson documentary they had, Leaving Neverland?
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that documentary?
Yeah, 100% with the kids, right?
Now, you remember that
dudes?
Mope from the documentary, Wade, whatever, the dancing guy?
Yep.
He was championing Michael Jackson during his trial.
He was championing?
Yeah. He was like speaking for him.
It turned out that he was that was bullshit, right? He was just trying to make money by for smearing.
That's what they say. No one ever like actually proved it. I think he was full of shit.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. And now everybody goes, oh, he's a rapist, pedophile.
It's funny, as time's going on, when I was younger, I would say, oh, I think Michael Jackson, I fed into it. But I actually don't think Michael Jackson was doing it. I think he might have been doing some.
I think they trashed him.
Bro, he was a grown-ass kid.
Yo, Sean, he was buying catalogs, bro.
Yeah.
He was making enemies.
No, for sure.
Sony.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Beatles.
I do think he was probably doing shit that some would consider inappropriate, like sleeping in the same room with young kids and shit like that and stuff like that, whatever.
It's uncalled for.
But I don't think it's uncalled for, but I don't think, I don't think Mike was, doing shit like that.
Yeah.
When you hear behind the scenes stories about Mike.
Yeah.
And remember, Mike always worked with new artists, whether it was Neo, whoever was popping, will.i.am, like he always was tapped in and wanted to work with you. So, and you hear these stories, go watch. Like, I don't know if you ever heard the story of, I'm gonna send you the link about, I forgot who it was that told the story. I think it's will.i.am about Michael Jackson and Prince. Cause like Prince, one of them went after Mike with a baseball bat. some shit like that. I'll send you the clip. It's hilarious. Like, I just
Yeah.
don't. And like you said, that's the perfect way to put it. It's hard to like make that accusation without concrete proof.
Scary. And it's scary
But then
because
here's the thing, though, right? And not maybe about this, just in general.
Yeah.
It could be anything, whatever people may consider conspiracy theory, right? Like, there'll be things that come out and it's like hard evidence, but then it's like people still try to debate if that's real evidence or not. Like, it's just so.
Yeah, because but that's because people don't want things to be true,
Right.
or they want things to be true. Like, look,
Well,
let's be fair. Let's be fair, right? Like, because you started with that because you were a Tupac fan, that you lean towards that these things were true, right? About Puffy, and you admitted that, right?
Yeah.
So that there's a lot of that going on where people either want something to be true or they don't want it to be true. Look, there were a lot of people, bro, because like, let's say because Puffy's a black man, like they're taking down our black kings. They're taking down our hip hop icons. Meanwhile, those same people, I know of one or two we were in studios with, they were like, yeah, he out here doing foul shit to fucking
Everyone in
and
the
then all of a
world.
sudden, you know what I mean?
Like, everyone in the world be saying that was
that's
around him.
What I'm really talking about, and we all have it. We all have it as like humanity. We just have these biases. And it's like, now we're getting into such allegations where it can't play. Like, this is not a Knicks game. Like, we are literally talking about rape and pedophilia at this point. And the worst part, brother, is that this has been happening. I mean, Elvis, right? Eric Clapton,
Woody Allen,
Rolling Stones, the Beatles.
All these
There'd
cats.
be a line of girls, all minors.
Celine Dion.
What was she
She
doing,
was like
bro?
10, and she was with a manager or whatever it was.
So
No, she was like 14 with homie.
Nah, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Nah,
like,
bro.
Nah, bro. But that's the kind of shit that's fucking crazy, right? When you think about it, it's like
Culture.
they pick who they want to. You know what I mean?
That goes to your point, right?
So, right, like with fucking R. Kelly. What pisses me off about R. Kelly, though, is everybody knew this shit was going on.
And no one said nothing.
That DVD came out.
Yeah.
And he was still shining for 15 years after that.
Age is nothing but a number. Age is nothing but a number. Like, that was with Ali and him.
Yeah. And it's funny, people always think I'm like super biased about Tupac. And I'm actually not. I'll be the first one to tell you that like his actions led him to get killed, unfortunately. Right? He was a young guy, made mistakes, and he got killed. It's a shame. I'm still sad about it. After all this time, I still wish he was alive and doing interviews and putting out new music and movies. But it doesn't mean that he wasn't light years ahead of his time. And most people in that, like, go watch old Tupac interviews, not when he was angry. Go watch like real interviews where he's talking about making change and doing it. Like, he was a special guy. Like, you know what I mean? Guys like Puffy are vultures. I don't mean culture vultures. I just mean a vulture feeding off of carcass.
Others, yeah. Yeah.
Remember that Saigon record, Pop Quiz?
Yes.
He's like, who was it that shot Biggie? A, was it the Southside Crips, Puffy Yoda McGrip? B, and he like, thank God they came back and then sang I Miss You.
Yeah. It's almost like Puffy got around those label guys, and he absorbed all of it. I mean, you got to really think, man, and it goes back to like the Velvet Mafia stuff. Like, this game was purposely molding a culture. When we this is something that I've been pointing out to Crystal. I've been explaining to her. I'm like, back in the day in Sam Goody, there were these Sam Goody. There were these tapes. I used to collect tapes when we were young, remember? And I'm like 13, 14 buying tapes of Sam Goody, and there'd be these tapes of it would say on it literally in bold writing, Bloods versus Crips.
I remember that.
You remember those tapes?
Of course.
Does anybody remember those tapes? Guys, and they were artists that nobody knew. Nobody knew. But they were in Sam Goody. It wasn't no big artist from the West,
right?
Or big artists, It was there with a whole bunch of people talking about killing each other. Who was putting that in Sam Goody?
We got to find them tapes so we can see who the distributor was.
Who distributed, and why would you do that?
Right.
Why would you pump that? So here we are 20, 30 years later, probably 30 years later, right?
Right.
30 years later, where we're here now, and you're seeing this drill stuff, and the labels are like, no, we need this 17-year-old kid that's affiliated with this gang, and we need to put him. I mean, we did it with Bobby Shmurda. We watched it with Bobby Shmurda.
And that's been happening forever, right? Like when you think about even the Biggie and Tupac shit, a lot of people got paid off that.
Yeah. And it was on every radio, and they were talking about it.
And take it even further, right? When Tupac died, Biggie died, what happened? They come and get Suge Knight. right? They shut down Death Row Records. But if you look, you ever seen Murder Rap?
No.
Go, I've been telling you, watch that documentary.
Watch it, yeah.
And a lot of people dispute that documentary, but still watch it.
Is that the point of view of the cops? The cops that were hired?
The cop who investigated, like he was the head of the task force, because once Biggie's mother was suing the city of LA for like $450 million, which was Biggie's like estimated lifetime earnings at that time. Now they gotta solve the case. And then it could actually bankrupt LA. Literally. You got $450 million case of whatever lawsuit fucking lingering, hovering above you. And now they got it. They had this guy, Greg Kading. And a lot of people like argue with him, but that's the conspiracy of the Biggie and Tupac murders. But anyway, after all that happened, they like shut Death Row down. But if you look prior, not too long before they arrested Suge and Death Row took a hit and shit like that, and they had to sell it off, like they sold, I think it was Ted Fields and Jimmy Iovino, whatever. They sold like like a big chunk of Interscope Records, whatever it was, to I think Sony or one of these other labels. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember which one it was, but they ultimately were selling their share of Death Row because nothing on Interscope was making the money Death Row was making.
Yeah.
Death Row, I mean, rap was outselling. Death Row was outselling everything. So it's okay for them to capitalize off of a criminal enterprise, which was Death Row, but Suge. And that's why I always hate it too.
I don't look. That's so crazy. That's such another perspective. That's crazy.
Right.
So you're saying what? Once again, they.
Yeah, I mean, Suge to them was the devil. You know what I mean? He was a gangster. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I always hated too.
Use him as long as you can, and then
right. And Suge Knight was a terrible person in a lot of ways. He was a good person in a lot of ways. He helped a lot of people. People forget that he helped a lot of these guys. Yeah, he was giving them some of them shit deals and stuff, but he like literally did a lot for artists. You know what I mean? Like you can't front in that sense that he did help a lot of artists, but he just couldn't get away from himself. But the point is that I always hated that people always like villainized Suge Knight and praised Puffy.
Right.
Because you know what I mean? Shit.
Because Suge was being who he was and Puffy was massive.
And you know the beef with Suge and Biggie and Pac really started with Puffy and Suge.
And
that beef existed while that beef started while Big and Pac were still friends.
Wow.
Before Pac even went to jail.
So wait, before Quad?
Yeah. Way before.
Yeah, wow.
Puffy and Suge were friends. They did like business together. They did like some club dates and stuff. But then there was like a party or whatever. And Suge's best friend was killed by Puffy's friend and bodyguard, Wolf.
Wow.
Remember Wolf? He was the guy who got killed by BMF.
Yeah, I remember you.
He was like a street guy with Puffy's bodyguard. But Wolf killed Suge's best friend in a shootout in Atlanta.
Wow. And that's what this stems from?
I mean, that's where their beef starts. And I think that, Suge had Tupac was like, okay, I'm going to put the battery in the kid's back.
Do you see that Suge from jail is doing all these interviews and stuff like that?
I love it. Have you listened to the podcast?
No, I haven't got to listen.
And you know what? You got to give about Suge. He said he doesn't even wish jail for Puffy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Puffy couldn't wait for Suge to go to jail.
The whole industry, if I'm hearing it from engineers in 2005 and you're hearing it from people that we're networking with in the music game, that means the game knows things and they're all being quiet. Now, I'm not saying, listen, I understand there's a no snitch culture, but now we're talking, if people are seeing pedophilia, like why isn't that being handled?
Yeah, no snitch culture in which way though, you mean?
My point is that men with code, men with, we call it street code or just a moral code, right? How are you being around that?
Right. You can ask some of the guys that went on tour with back in the day. Like, there was a couple times that, like, dudes would try to, like, pick up girls. Because, there's these clubs in Europe that'd be, like, 16 for entry.
For adult show?
In Switzerland, it's 16 to drink beer. You don't have to be 16.
And they in high school, they drink a beer?
Mm-hmm. You can't drink hard liquor until you're, like, 21 or whatever it is. Or 18.
But you can drink beer?
Yeah, it's 16. I don't know if that law changed, but when I was first there, yeah. And there was a couple times, guys that they didn't mean anything by it, but girls maybe looked older. And there was one time they were trying to bring some girls after the show, and I'd ask, O-Dub will tell you. I literally said, yo, I need to see your IDs.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe, and I told my boy at the time, like, yo, you can't be going away with these girls. I know you don't mean, like, I know you're not trying to be a deviant, but you got to, like, be careful out here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
you gotta pay attention.
To them, you're like this American guy that they're infatuated with. So they're going to tell you they're 19. They fucking 15.
Yeah. So one thing, like, we were always hype, like, there was never any of that kind of shit around, like, ever. We would never.
Well, yeah,
we would never stand, like, that shit is wild to me.
Nah,
And
yeah.
hearing men in the game that could probably get whatever girl they want because of the culture, like, and then still resulting to like young girls like that is super creepy and super, I think, deviant
Yeah.
behavior, bro.
Just in general, bro, I don't like terrorizing, like you used the word before, like
Yeah.
civilians. I just don't like it. Even when I was younger, but now especially.
Yeah.
Did I tell you a story about the guy that I'm not gonna say, but lives in a local neighborhood that I would reside in, and he's schizophrenic? Did I ever tell you about this?
No.
So the guy, he lives, on the block. This is some time back, and he's schizophrenic. He'd be in the street, fucking screaming all kind of obscenities, like wild shit. Like you could tell that he's hearing shit in his head.
Yeah.
And you know that something's going on. He lives with his mother. His mother's like this, like 80, she's like 80 or 75, still working as a doctor. And one day, like I said, he would always be screaming 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the night, screaming at the top of his lungs. One time I hear screaming, I look out the window, I see this guy. He's a big, big Indian dude. Big guy, fat, not jack, but big, 6'4". I see him body slam his like 75-year-old mother on the concrete.
Oh my god.
And then start kicking her. So I'm like you, naturally, first thing I do is run to the closet, grab the metal bat, and I went after him. Pulled him off his mom, sort of like, get back, that type shit. And, he like kind of was like, put the bat down, but he was like screaming, whatever. And I'm like, no, like I literally like saved this lady.
Yeah.
And potentially, who knows, guy's schizophrenic. He could have, now,
he doesn't know right from wrong.
Yeah. Hold on to that. People would have said, like, yeah, Sean pulled the bat on you.
Right.
There'd be times people having schizophrenic ransom would use my government name.
That's scary.
Because he's probably looking at my mail.
Right. Yeah. So what happened?
I see him. Over the years. He'll ask me for cigarettes. I tell him, I don't smoke no more.
Yeah.
But if I ever know he's around, I keep one headphone off. Because a schizophrenic, who knows? He might just pull up and try to jig me up.
There's no reason.
My point is, I'm going to watch him beat up a fucking elderly woman, his mother.
100%.
Yo, and he was stomping her, kicking her in the fucking head. His mother.
That's terrible, bro.
I held it down. My point is, I'm not going to watch that stuff. Like,
100%.
Me personally, if I seen dudes I knew, like, taking advantage of a woman.
You're talking about moral code.
Yeah,
that's what it's
moral code. I like moral fiber.
Moral fiber, yeah, 100%. So you're getting ready for the 2025 tour in May, man. What do you, what cities do you have locked down so?
Well, it's just starting. So I got Switzerland, obviously. That's always the home base. Czech Republic, Italy. And I literally this morning I sent out 50, 60 emails. And my man DJ Crip, shout out to him from Snow Goons, he sent out another 60. So there's 120 cats right now with emails waiting to be read. So our goal is, hopefully, God willing, 20 shows would be great. But even 10 or 15 would be great.
And that's from like May to June?
Yeah, May through until ending in June. Yeah, awesome. Like in the beginning of June. Yeah, and by that time, I have all this new music that I plan to put out. It's going to be a big year. I'm actually going to release more music this year than I have in the last couple of years.
So you're gonna release that rock album finally, right?
Yeah,
That's exciting.
I'm very honestly.
Honestly, it's some of your best music that I've heard.
I think it is my best music ever. Like as far as just like creatively and just out of the box challenge, it's really fun to make, man. It really is so fun to make.
How is the synergy with the band, working with the band and stuff?
It's cool. The truth is, most of the records, like the first couple ones we did as a band together, like the stems, like when you're doing with a band, like when I recorded at Studio 631, shout out to Matt Echo, when we record there, it's only vocals and guitar being cut there, or keys. When we do drums, we have to go to an outside studio because they can't record drums there. So the first couple records, you've been to 631, so where the MRI place is?
Yep.
That was actually a recording school. That's where Echo and Charlie from my band went to college.
Oh wow.
To music school.
Right.
Next door to where Echo. That's why Echo built 631 there, to kind of like as a homage to where he literally ended up buying renting that building and building his own studio where he went to school.
Is that why there's like weird equipment that comes in?
Yes, because he got all that because the guy who owned the school died, and Echo ended up getting a lot of that equipment from him.
That's awesome.
And so before they tore it down, that's where we recorded the first couple records as far as musically, the drums and everything. So, but most of the records are getting done with just me and Echo in the studio. You know what I mean? Like the one that we have out now, the self-titled Cuzzo record.
Yeah.
That's what I like, is being able to produce through somebody. That's what's so fun about it. I can't play guitar, but I know exactly what I want played. Like with Echo, it's cool. I can hum a melody and he'll play it.
That's what producers used to be, though. That's what the original with rock groups and stuff.
Remember your shirt idea?
What?
I don't make beats, I produce records.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You know what I mean? That was always the thing that we were on.
There's a misconception specifically with hip hop producers that beat making or beat programming were producers, but it's really
the one overseeing producing the record, producing the session.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll say Echo, it wasn't just me. Echo was doing that too. He just, him and Charlie are playing the guitars. But for me, musically, my contribution to that, besides vocals and writing the songs, is, I think there's one record I played some keys on, but other than that, I don't play an instrument on the album.
Yeah.
But I was extremely, extremely picky about how I want, what melodies I wanted, what direction I wanted. I would literally hum melodies to them. Like even choruses. I remember we have a song, I haven't really officially named it yet, but I wrote the chorus for it. And it was cool because when we made the beat, not even the beat, when we made the track in the studio, the big studio with the drums and everything, it was produced mostly, and then we were still like, there was something missing, and I gotta give it to Echo. He played like this melody. I can remember it right away, like him sitting there going bam, 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 like he played the chorus part, whatever. And I was like, oh, that's fire. And as soon as I heard it, like he already set the chorus up for me. That was the chorus melody that he provided for me, right? So then I took it home and wrote the chorus to that. Dun, 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 dun. Like I wrote to that,
right?
And I remember I wrote the chorus. And for some reason, one of the days when he had Charlie from the band sings that chorus. And I remember I had to leave because it was like a thunderstorm happening. I'm like, yo, I'm going to go back. I don't want to be caught in the rain later, whatever. But so when I wrote the chorus, I remember that's why I got to give them props, man. These cats, like all of them that are in the band, shout out to all of them. Russell, Mike, Echo, Charlie, great guys, talented guys. But Echo and Charlie called me and they're like on the phone. They're like, yo, sing that chorus to me again. I sent them the words, and then they were like, yo, on the phone. I was like, yo, sing it to me. And I sang it to him. And Charlie was like, yo, one more time. And him and Echo listening. I was like, okay, I did it again. And they're like, one more time. Sang it again. Like, all right, I got to go. Hung up the phone on me. 45 minutes later, sent me the chorus. Recorded exactly how I wrote it.
That must have been fun, man.
And I was like, I remember, I'm going to lie to you, I ran. When they sent me the first version, I'm running, screaming up and down the street, just listening to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. It's like how I felt when we did Go Hard. Like, that was one of those records when it was done.
That was crazy.
Like the process of making it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was the thing about our album that was fun. Like, for anybody listening to me and Fuzz have an album called Return from Rejection in 2015. We're about to do the 10-year anniversary release.
100%.
Maybe some new artwork, some new videos, little bonus tracks.
Definitely some new
remastering, whatever have you. But the fun part about that album was the challenge of like making new music. Right? Because I went from doing like straight underground boom bap. And there's a hint of that in there because there's like one or two beats I did, you know what I mean? Even though it's a Mighty Fuzz Young produced album, like you have the funk. And I think that's the only one.
All Father? No, and there's one with
and the intro.
No, there's another one, Fly. Let It Fly.
Right. I think the Concept, though. Concept did that. Dax Hammer did that with me too. Yeah. Right? But for the most part,
we got to get into
those records were challenging. Yeah, for sure. I just talked to him the other day. Those records were challenging because it was like stepping out of a comfort zone, you know what I mean? Like Loyalty and Go Hard, the You and Me record, even the outro.
Yeah.
I love that fucking beat.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Like the way you break it down where it's like the slow, sinister, and then it gets into the hype chorus. The dum, dum. Like it just, it's very, different.
Yeah.
And I like different. That's why, like, with hip hop, it's kind of like, even though I have hip hop album come out this year, everybody, like, I got a Snow Goons album coming. I'm committed to doing Street Urchin 3 to make it a trilogy. I want to finish the trilogy, have Street Urchin 1, 2, and 3. You know what I mean? Like on some horror movie trilogy shit. But other than that,
I gotta do one for that.
I don't. Yeah, of course, 100%.
I wasn't on the second one.
Nah,
it bothered me. I wasn't on.
No, I feel you.
I wasn't doing any music.
Yeah, I just. Other than that, for like rap, and listen, shout out to every rapper doing their thing. Salute to them. Whatever type of music it is you make, I hope the best for all of you. Even people that I don't like personally, I want to see you win because I know how hard it is. But I just don't really get intrigued by rap, man.
Yeah.
I usually we're not going to say who, but you played a legendary rapper song in the car today, and I'm like...
I was actually thinking about that legendary rapper, and I actually disagree wholeheartedly. I feel like that, like, what he put out at we're talking about Busta Rhymes, guys. Busta Rhymes, I feel like he evolved with the times, and his last album...
That's the one that all the Rockwilder beats.
DLE, is it?
Part 2.
Is it
ELE 2, ELE
No,
1 is a
it's-
classic.
Shit, it's bad. I don't know.
ELE 2,
No.
he did put out ELE 2, but then he had another one after that.
Yeah, I'm trying. What's the name of it?
I couldn't tell you.
Anyway, Busta Rhymes. What? I mean, the fact that he, at his age, could just be putting this music out,
Yeah.
and
He makes great records. I'll never take that away from him. I just don't think he's like a supreme lyricist, but he makes great records.
I have
You know
him
what
in my top 5.
I know you always did. And listen, I would never knock that, right? Busta Rhymes, Busta Rhymes. But like, not that I think it's whack or anything. I just don't care.
Right.
Like,
who is Sean Strange's top 5 lyricists without including
of all
yourself?
time or
Without
now?
including yourself,
I
top
would never
5
put
of all
myself. I would
time.
never put myself in my own top 5. I hate when people do that.
Yeah.
All time, 5 is hard to do. It has to be 10. But in order, I don't know if I can do order. I don't know if I can do an order, but I will say this: I do think skill-wise, Nas is the greatest rapper that ever lived.
Really?
Yeah, like I think skill-wise, that Eminem does shit that no one else on earth can do. But I just think Nas, like, if the fucking civilization ended and the motherfuckers are digging shit up, figuring out what the world was, and they wanted to know what hip hop is
It's not
supposed to be, it's Nas.
That's an awesome way of looking at it, bro.
I mean,
I
like,
thought that was an
to
awesome
me,
way of
he's
looking at it.
God's own MC. Like,
Right.
he is
If there was an artist.
God's son. Like,
Yeah.
he listen to the way that guy raps, his cadence, his wordplay. You know, every new album, he always rhymes a couple hundred words he never rhymed before.
That's
Look it
crazy.
up.
See?
Every
Look at
album, he
that.
makes sure that he
So he's like a little wordsmith. So if there was somebody a little older than us and they would be hearing this, would they be saying something like, if it wasn't for Rakim, there'd be no Nas, or if there wasn't for no
I mean, you could
G-Rap,
always say
or
that, right? But
like,
you could always say that, but I think shit has to evolve.
because when people say, "Oh, Eminem's the best," I always think of Pac because of how much Pac had an influence on Master Ace.
Yes, but
you know,
But Pac was a different, like a lot of people argue that Pac wasn't a lyricist, which I disagree with. I don't think he was like some supreme metaphor kind of guy, but I think Pac is underrated as a lyricist. But my favorite rapper of all time, hands down, is Tupac. It's not even debatable. If I'm making a list of my favorites, I just wanted to say for the clarity of it that I think Nas is the greatest. Just as far as what it means to be like everything. He had everything covered. The best rap artist of all time is Tupac Shakur. It's not even debatable. He is what exemplifies.
All right, so just give me 3 more.
Tupac exemplifies what a rap superstar is supposed to be.
Right. He hits all.
But Nas, to me, exemplifies what it means to be an MC, a skill set that is just like supernatural. Definitely. Prodigy.
You got Prodigy in top.
My 2 favorite rappers of all time, of my personal, is Tupac and Prodigy. And then probably like Nas and stuff like that. But to me, Prodigy, if someone put a gun to my head and said you have to rhyme
so
one.
Biggie's not in your
my top 5? No, but he's in my top 10.
Gotcha.
He's in my top 10.
Is Busta Rhymes in your top 10?
No.
Yo.
And I love his first 3 albums. I love him. I love The Coming. I love When Disaster Strikes. I love Extinction Level Event. After that, I'm not saying they were bad. It just wasn't like, oh my God, I got to go buy this album. But he's Busta Rhymes.
You know why? I think my thing with Busta was that of the energy, right? And his ability of not only making songs, but then the videos as well. He was a lyricist. He's a big dude, you know what I mean? Like it was just a more of assertive, dominating thing. Like
even when he was skinny,
it wasn't like
you know what I mean?
I wasn't like, I know all my friends were about the pen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Artists like Black Thought or Nas.
Yeah.
But mine was more like Pop.
Yeah.
DMX.
Yeah, X would be in my top 10. Maybe not 5, but X would probably be in my top 10.
It's hard, right? But if you really think about the time that he came and the effect he had on hip hop was at a time after Pac and Biggie died.
Well, DMX filled that void.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
He filled that void for Tupac fans, especially.
Literally.
Not just Biggie. I mean, for New York, maybe for Biggie.
People don't realize what was
on. Oh, he filled that
Really?
void for me. Like with Tupac, there was a sadness for Tupac and Biggie's death for hip hop fans. So when DMX came out, he was like the champion for the have-nots, for sure.
Incredible.
Sure.
Sean, I want to thank you for coming today, man.
Of course, brother.
I think we covered a lot.
Yeah.
Where could they reach you, Sean?
You can reach me at Instagram, SeanStrange718. If you need to do business or booking, or you want production, or you want, business only, you can hit me at nobrobiz@gmail.com, and Sean Strange on Facebook. And that's it. That's the only platforms you can reach me at. And make sure you check out my Spotify, Apple Music, all that other shit. You know what I mean? I just clocked in on, 75 million, 80 million streams. You know what I mean?
Let's go.
You know, just on Spotify and YouTube alone, I'm over 55 million. Right now I'm at like 56 million. So if you add Apple Music, Amazon, all that other shit. Yeah, man.
That's awesome, bro.
Get your 100 mil.
Thank you for coming,
Thank you,
bro.
Love is love always. You know what I mean?
Episode 25.
You already know.
Yeah.